Hello Nordenglish students, and in lesson 1 of Programming with Alice 3 I'm going to introduce you to Alice 3. In this tutorial we're going to learn to explore the Alice programming interface, we're going to learn to develop a world with multiple objects, and we're going to identify repetition and apply looping until a condition in your program is met. And what I want you to have done in this tutorial is to produce a world that includes Alice and the rabbit, and program Alice to move to the rabbit and stop and say hello. And then to make it more efficient, to use a while loop to move Alice to the rabbit, say hello, and move to the screen. So, let's have a look at the Alice interface. And I'm using Alice 3. And when you load up Alice, you need to choose a background. And I will choose the grass background. And I'm going to press OK. And it will now load up for me. And on here, it's split into different sections. On the top left is your display of your scene of what's going to happen, and you can press run to make the program run. Down here is where you can select your objects. So at the moment I've only got my background, my ground, and my camera. We've then got a selected camera, so it's got the procedures related to the camera and then the functions related to the camera. And on the right side is where you put your code. And there are 3 sections. There's the scene, the event part where we can have multiple methods initialized by different things, and then we have the my first method. And for this tutorial, we're just going to use the my first method. So, first thing we need to do is we need to find our objects, and that's where we click on Setup Scene. And we have we can browse it by theme, group, gallery, shapes. I'm going to go by theme, and I'm going to scroll to the very end to Wonderland, and I'm going to choose Alice, and I'm going to choose the Carnegie Mellon Alice, and I can go backwards, so I'm going to currently here, so I want to go back to Wonderland, and I'm going to find my rabbit here. This is my rabbit, good. So I've got my rabbit, I've got Alice, like so, and if I select Alice, I can do various things. I can rotate her, I can move her, I can resize her, I can change the colour, the position, and the size. But I'm not going to change that for the moment. I've got these 2 objects on the screen, and I'm now going to edit my code. I can't see them on the screen properly, so let's just move them in a bit so we can move them both inwards on here. So, first thing I want to do, I want to move Alice to the rabbit. Okay, so I'm going to select my Alice, and I'm going to go to Procedures, and I need to turn Alice to the rabbit. So I want to turn to face the rabbit. So I just grab this Alice in here. I say, this Alice, turn to face, target, this March hare. And if I run that, I will then see Alice turn to face. And that's very useful to do that because it will turn exactly to face the right place. And a very simple way of doing this, to make it move, I can just say move towards say move to the March hare, and perhaps I'll run this and it'll just slide to the March hare. Of course it goes right on top of the hare there. I want it just to be a bit behind, and I can put it behind. But of course the big thing I don't like about this is it just slides. Alice just slides, and when you're walking you're actually moving your legs, and we want Alice to be moving the legs. So that's where the while loop comes in. So let's delete this one. So I'll drag it back to the commands, and we're going to look at some control structures, and one of which is called a while loop. And a while loop means it will repeat until a condition is met. In this case, we want it to repeat until Alice has reached the hare. Okay, so I want it to repeat, and to make it the legs move at the same time as walking, we can use another control structure called do together. Right, so we can have the legs move and her move at the same time. So I can go to this Alice move forward, because of course she'll move forward the direction she's moving forward, and we want to move 0.25, and we want to move her legs. So if I click on this drop down box, I can then go to the side and I can find the different parts of Alice. And for this one, I think I'm going to move her left hip, and I'm going to turn her left hip, and I'm going to say I want to turn it forward this much. Same again, I want to do her right hip, so I'm going to do a right hip, and I'm going to say I want it to turn backwards this time. So I have a left leg going back, a left leg going forward, a right leg going back, and she moves forward. And if I run this, you're going to and it will keep going around in a circle all the way. And she'll go past the hare, because of course I've not told it to stop at the hare. Like so. So of course, how do I make it? So I need to make it her legs go forward and back, forward and back, forward and back. I can just right click and copy to clipboard, and then I can go to the clipboard and I can just drag this underneath, and I can change the forward here to a backwards, and a backwards here to a forward. Same again, I can just right click, copy to clipboard, and drag this underneath. And then I can do the same with the top one, because I want 4 times here, and drag this underneath. So you've got forward, back, then back, forward, and then forward, back. If I play this, we should see her legs move much smoother, and that's what I want to do. But of course, we're going to notice that Alice is now walking past the hare, and she doesn't stop, and she doesn't say hello. So now we need to change this true bit to saying that I want her to stop. So I can click on the true and say on here, when this is greater than, so we want to say when the distance is greater than, let's say for the minute 2.5. We can 0.25. And then we need to say here, instead of being 2,5 is greater than 2,5, we need to add the distance. And if I set Alice, I can see this, and I can then say, going down to the functions, if I drag this down, and I'm looking for get distance, here we are. So I'm looking for this Alice, get distance to, and I want to find out the distance. It's going to measure the distance to the March hare, and it'll say, is it greater than this distance here? So it'll say, get distance, is it greater than this? If it is greater, it's going to walk, otherwise it will stop. So let's play this. So as you can see, she's walking because it's further away than 0.25. Just keep going. And as we can see, she keeps walking, so she's going too far. So let's just stop there. Let's change this to be 0.5. Let's see if this works better. This is where you need to have a bit of experimentation to see what number is best for you. Not quite. And let's try again. Let's try 2. And there we go. We've got 2, brings it over here. So that's quite a distance away. Let's get it closer. I want to get her closer. So let's try and do 1 this time. I wanted to get her closer than 2, further away than 0.5. So I think 1 might be a good number. I like that. That's a good one. So once we've got there, then we want to say at the very end, outside this loop, we want to say Alice will say hello. And if we go back to procedures, it says this Alice say, and I can drag this outside the loop, say hello. I can even change the writing here to custom text, hello there. And I can then press play, and we should now see Alice walking towards the hare, and she will stop because we've already tested this already. So we just now want to test that the hello works, and hello hare. Perfect. And that is tutorial 1.